Well, welcome to Whole Bible Study with your host, Tad Inoy. Today we will explore a central question in the wilderness story. Why did God make Israel wander for 40 years? Numbers 14 gives us the turning point that leads to this outcome. It is one of the clearest and most decisive chapters in Torah. Here is the situation in simple terms. Israel has reached the edge of the Eretz, which means land, especially the land God promised to their ancestors. They have just heard the report of the 12 spies, 10 focused on danger, strong cities, and powerful people. Only Joshua and Caleb encouraged the people to trust God and move forward. When the people heard both reports, they panicked. They cried all night. They complained against Moses and Aaron. They said it would have been better to die in Egypt. They even talked about choosing a new leader and going back. Joshua and Caleb tried to calm them, but the people prepared to stone them. At that moment, the glory of the Lord appeared, and God intervened. God declared that the people had refused to trust him after everything he had done for them. Moses prayed for them, and God forgave them. But he also said this generation would not enter the land. Their children would. They would wander the midbar, the wilderness, for 40 years. 1 year for every day the spies explored the land. When the people tried to go forward anyway, they were defeated. Numbers 14 is about trust, consequences, leadership, and the long work of God forming the people of Berit, the covenant. In this episode, we look closely at what happened, why it happened, and how Jewish and Christian traditions understand this turning point. Numbers 14 moves through a clear sequence. The people respond to the spies' report with overwhelming fear. They weep all night and complain openly against Moses and Aaron. Their fear becomes a decision. They say they would rather die in Egypt or in the wilderness. They talk about choosing a new leader and returning to Egypt. Their reaction shows a collapse of trust, not only in Moses, but in God. Joshua and Caleb respond differently. They point to the goodness of the land and to God's presence. They tell the people not to rebel and not to fear. The key issue here is emunah, which means steady trust or faithfulness. Joshua and Caleb show emunah. The people do not. Their rejection becomes so strong that they prepare to stone the two faithful voices. At this moment, the Lord appears. God's words to Moses are direct. Quote, "How long will these people despise me? How long will they not believe in me?" Unquote. The core issue is trust. God speaks of disinheriting the people. Moses responds by praying. He appeals to God's own character, especially God's chesed, which means loyal love, covenant kindness, and mercy. Moses quotes God's earlier words about himself and asks for forgiveness. God grants forgiveness, but also gives a consequence. The generation that refused to enter the land will not receive it. Their children will. The 40 years match the 40 days the spies were in the land. This is a form of measure for measure justice. But God does not abandon the people. The last scene shows another failure. When the people hear the judgment, they try to go into the land anyway. Moses warns them that God is not with them in this attempt. They go and they are defeated. This shows that repentance is not simply regret. It requires aligning with God's timing. Rabbinic tradition pays close attention to this moment. Many rabbis describe the wilderness generation as spiritually unprepared to enter the land. A guiding rabbinic principle is lefe darko, meaning according to his way or according to his capacity. It teaches that God meets people where they are and teaches them in ways they can understand. Maimonides develops this further by teaching that the Torah speaks in language of human beings, unquote. God gives instructions in forms people can receive. He says many commandments were given gradually to move Israel from the habits of Egypt toward the spiritual maturity. The wilderness becomes a school where God forms identity and trust. Modern Jewish thinkers like Abraham Joshua Heschel describe revelation as a relationship that unfolds in history. God shapes Israel slowly through real experiences. The generation that left Egypt still thought like people who had lived under oppression. Their children raised in the Midbar would learn trust from birth. They would not long for Egypt. They would move forward freely. The ancient Near East would also helps us to understand how unusual this story is. Other ancient gods punished quickly and abandoned their people. But here God forgives and continues providing manna, water, protection, and guidance. This shows a God who is both just and deeply committed to his people. Now, Christian thinkers see similar themes. Early writers like Origen and Gregory of Nyssa described the wilderness as a picture of spiritual growth. People move from fear to trust gradually. God meets them where they are and leads them step by step. Modern scholars like N.T. Wright emphasize that God works within human limits. David Bentley Hart and Brad Jersak highlight that God does not force immediate perfection, but guides patiently. All of this supports the idea that God forms people slowly and at a pace they can handle. Numbers 14 explains the 40 years in direct terms. Israel refused to enter the land, so God turned their back unto the wilderness. But the 40 years are not only judgment, they are also mercy. God forgives. He continues to provide. The people remain in Brit, the covenant. God does not reject them. He continues to work with them through the Midbar. The first generation saw God's acts, but not yet trust his character. Their children raised in the wilderness would learn to trust differently. Rabbinic tradition sees this as preparation. Christian writers see it as spiritual formation. Both perspectives show that growth takes time. The wilderness years create space for change, maturity, and readiness. God corrects his people, but he does not leave them. He forms them over time. As we close, I invite you to reflect on where God might be teaching you gently, step by step, just as he taught Israel in the Midbar. Every journey with God has seasons that feel clear and seasons that feel uncertain. Yet in all of them, God remains patient. He stays with us. He leads us forward in ways we can understand. My prayer is that you will sense that steady guidance in your own life, and that you will find courage to trust him in the places where fear once held you back. May this study give you something to reflect on, something to carry with you, and something that opens your heart a little more to God who walks beside his people. May you feel chesed, his faithful and loyal love in every step of your journey. Thank you for being here, and thank you for letting these teachings be a part of your walk with faith. And we'll see you in the next chapter soon.